it's very popular to say people with strong morals struggle to make money. At first glance, it sounds reasonable, but there's a hidden mental trap. It seems like if you want to make money, you have to give up your principles. But the truth is, the people who make money constantly over the long term are not the ones who are the most calculating. They are the ones with the strongest boundaries. A lot of people unconsciously treat doing business and spiritual growth as two opposite paths, as if you have to choose one or the other. So, even if you've heard advice about inner development before, you probably never thought about this. It can actually be used to make money. Hey, I'm Yu. Today we're breaking down the Diamond Sutra and exploring how to use the wisdom of the Diamond Sutra to solve real-world business problems. But before we get to the main ideas, I have to tell you about the author, because his story is quite dramatic. He graduated from Princeton and then did something completely unexpected. He went into a monastery and spent 22 years in deep study and practice, eventually earning the Geshe degree, which is basically the equivalent of a PhD in Buddhist philosophy. Now, you'd think someone like that would spend their entire life in spiritual practice, right? But his teacher told him something surprising. If you truly understand these teachings, you have to go back into the real world and test them. So he did. He left the monastery and went into business. From scratch, he started Diamond Company and eventually grew it into Emptiness International, a company generating over 200 million in annual revenue. Later, it was acquired by Richline, a jewelry group owned by Warren Buffett. So, how did he do it? Don't worry, we will get there. But first, we need to understand two key concepts, emptiness and karma. So what is emptiness? In simple terms, it means that nothing has a fixed inherent meaning. Nothing is automatically good or bad by itself. Sounds a bit abstract, right? Let's make it practical with a real business example. Back when Diamond International was deciding whether to buy a 9-story building in West Manhattan, most people's first reaction was, this has to be a great decision, right? But pause for a second. This is where it gets interesting. The exact same decision can lead to completely opposite outcomes. For employees living in New Jersey, their commute just got 30 minutes longer. That's bad. But for those living in Brooklyn, it actually became more convenient. That's good. For suppliers, if this move makes them trust your company more, that's good. But if they think, oh, you can afford this because you squeezed our margins, then it's bad. So here's the key question. If you remove the phrase, for whom, is this decision good or bad by itself? The answer is neither. It's not inherently good. It's not inherently bad. All those judgments are added afterward. That's the core idea of emptiness. Things don't come with built-in labels. Their meaning depends on how we perceive them. Let's bring it down to a more everyday example. There's probably a co-worker you find really annoying, but at the same time, someone else might think he or she is actually pretty great. Now, think about this. If annoying were an inherent quality of that person, why wouldn't everyone find them annoying? This tells us two things. First, that person doesn't inherently carry the quality of being annoying. Second, the reaction you feel is coming from your own conditions and interactions. And once you really understand this, something shifts. You are not just passively experiencing the world. You are actively participating in defining it. Alright, now that we've got emptiness down, let's move on to the next concept, karma. This concept represents one simple idea. Everything you do to others eventually becomes the world you experience. Earlier, we said that things don't have fixed meanings. So, where do these good or bad experiences actually come from? The answer is the seeds you plant. Your mind is like a camera that never turns off. Every action you take, every word you say, even every thought gets recorded and becomes what we call karma. When you sincerely help an employee who's struggling, that creates a positive imprint. When you tell a small lie to a client, that creates a negative imprint. And here's the key. They don't disappear right away. They stay in your mind like seeds, waiting for the right conditions to grow and show up later as a reality. Now, not all imprints are equal. There are many factors that determine how strong an imprint is, but the most important one is your intention. Let's say you help an employee. If your real motivation is not care, but simply to prevent their problem from affecting your productivity or profits, then the imprint you plant is actually very weak, almost ineffective. But if you help because you genuinely see that they are struggling and you want to support them, that positive imprint becomes much more powerful. Besides intention, there are other amplifiers. For example, emotion. The stronger the emotion, the deeper the imprint. That's why actions taken in anger tend to have a bigger impact. Another factor is the state of the other person. The more they truly need help, the more powerful your action becomes. There are three main ways to plant imprints: through your actions, your words, and your thoughts. And over time, these imprints shape the direction of your life and business, guiding them towards specific outcomes. If you understand and apply this principle, you can start building a huge amount of momentum for yourself and move your business forward in a much more predictable way. This is what we call the seed law. What you plant is what you will eventually see, and seeds follow their own growth logic. There are four key rules. First, the result always matches the seed. A negative action plants a negative imprint, which can only lead to unpleasant experiences. A positive action plants a positive imprint, which will lead to pleasant experiences. Second, seeds grow on their own. They don't just sit there. They expand and accumulate in your subconscious. Even a small action, if repeated over time, can turn into a massive outcome. Third, no seed, no experiences. Nothing you experience today is random. Every situation, every feeling is a result of a past imprint showing up. It's not that the world is doing something to you. You are seeing what you planted. Fourth, every seed will ripen. No imprint is ever wasted. It's only a matter of time. So how do you actually apply this in real business situations? Let's look at a few scenarios. Scenario 1. You're short on cash and fundraising keeps failing. Most people's first reaction is, I don't have enough resources or I don't have the right connections. But from the perspective of the seed law, the real issue is this. You haven't planted enough seeds of helping others make money. So, the solution is simple. Start helping others win intentionally. Don't take advantages from others. Don't squeeze every deal. Actively create win-win situations. And here's the key. It's not about the amount of money. It's about your state. Are you consistently helping others become more successful? Scenario 2. You want to collaborate, but high-quality people don't want to work with you. This usually isn't about luck. It's often the result of having chosen the wrong people in the past. A lot of people pick partners based only on money or resources and ignore the most expensive variable for character. So the better strategy is simple. Only build long-term partnerships with people you truly trust. In the short term, you might feel like you're losing out. But what you're really planting is something far more valuable. The seed of being trusted by high-quality people. Scenario 3. Your partnerships keep falling apart or you get betrayed. This kind of experience often comes from a very subtle habit. When you see someone else fail, do you secretly feel a little satisfied? A lot of us have this hidden tendency. We are strangely drawn to other people's misfortune. At its worst, it shows up as society's obsession with celebrity scandals. If you want to avoid planting this kind of negative imprint, practice something different. Whenever someone is in trouble, choose to feel compassion even if that person is your competitor. Let me leave you with one idea you can keep coming back to. The money you earn is never something you just take. It's something you once gave, returning to you in another form. Once you start seeing the world through the lens of seeds, you stop stressing about short-term results because you know, as long as the direction is right, the outcome is only a matter of time. Alright, that's it for today's breakdown of the diamond cutter. In the next episode of Unstoppable Evolution series, we'll dive into scarcity. See you in the next one.